What's going on, everybody? It's your man Enir Nabu, coming at you with a little more Behold a Pale Horse Theater. Just wanted to give you more excerpts of my favorite book, one of my favorite books. Let me just jump into this real quick for you, see if a little breakdown as to what goes down on a daily basis makes any sense to you. From the time a person leaves its mother's womb, its every effort is directed towards building, maintaining, and withdrawing into artificial wombs, various sorts of substitute protective devices or shells. The objective of these artificial wombs is to provide a stable environment for both stable and unstable activity, to provide a shelter for the evolutionary processes of growth and maturity, i.e., survival, to provide security for freedom, and to provide defensive protection for offensive activity, to provide defensive protection for offensive activity. This is equally true of both the general public and the elite. However, there's a definite difference in the way each of these two classes go about the solution of these problems. Now, the primary reason why the individual citizens of a country create a political structure is a subconscious wish or desire to perpetuate their own dependency relationship of childhood. Simply put, again, that just means that people are looking always for an artificial womb. They just want a human god to eliminate all risk from their life. Pat them on the head, kiss their bruises, put a chicken on every table, clothe their bodies, and tuck them in bed at night and tell them everything's gonna be alright when they wake up in the morning. The public demand is incredible, so the human god, basically the politician, meets incredibility with incredibility by promising the world and delivering nothing. So who's the bigger liar, the public or the godfather? This public behavior is surrender born of fear, surrender born out of laziness and expediency. It's the basis of the welfare state as a strategic weapon that's useful against the disgusting public. See, most people want to be able to subdue and or kill other human beings which disturb their daily lives. I know I do sometimes, you know you do sometimes. But they don't want to have to cope with the moral or the religious issues with such an overt act on their part. Therefore, they assign the dirty work to others, including their own kids, so as to keep the blood off their own hands. They rave about the humane treatment of animals, and then sit down to a delicious hamburger from a slaughterhouse down the street and out of sight. Even more hypocritical, they pay taxes to finance a professional association of hitmen, collectively called politicians, and then complain about corruption in their government. Again, most people want to be free to do things, to explore, yada yada, but they're afraid to fail. I dig it. The fear of failure is manifested in irresponsibility, and especially in delegating those personal responsibilities to others whose success is uncertain or carries possible or created liabilities. People want to have authority, but they won't accept the responsibility of liability, so they hire politicians to face reality for them. Okay, I hope some of this is sinking in. I hope you're getting some of it. It's artificial wombs. It's what everybody's always seeking once they come out of the natural womb. In summation, people hire politicians so that people can obtain security without managing it, so they can obtain action without thinking about it, so they can inflict injury, death upon others without having to contemplate either life or death. They hire politicians to avoid responsibility for their own intentions. And they hire politicians to obtain the benefits of reality and science without exerting themselves in the discipline of facing or learning either of these things. Alright, just one more time, that quick line right there, that makes a lot of sense. People hire politicians so that people can obtain the benefits of reality and science without exerting themselves in the discipline of facing or learning either of these things. People give politicians the power to create and manage a war so it can provide for the survival of their nation, the womb, to prevent encroachment of anything upon their nation, the womb, to destroy the enemy who threatens the nation, the womb, and to destroy the citizens of their own country who don't conform to the sake of stability of the nation, the womb. Politicians hold many quasi-military jobs, the lowest being the police, which are soldiers basically, the attorneys and the CPAs, who are spies and saboteurs, and the judges who shout the orders and run the closed union military shop for whatever the market will bear. The generals are industrialists. The presidential level of commander-in-chief is shared by the international bankers around the world. The people know they created a farce and financed it with their own taxes, but they'd rather knuckle under it than be hypocritical. Again, in summation, when you leave your mom's womb, you just look in there and find another womb. The nation you're born to love, taught to love, is an artificial womb. So people do anything they can to keep that womb protected. Even if they won't go out and do it themselves, they'll find a way to make somebody else do it for them. Holla at your boy. Behold the pale horse. Don't let the plague be sicking up on your asses. Protect yourself. Take some vitamins. Mental vitamins. Don't fall in love with an artificial womb. Fall in love with yourself. And you won't need an artificial womb. Holla.